What's going on, guys? Swinging Timber Outdoors here with a video on basic essential stuff that beginner fly anglers need. We're going to go through what's essential, what's nice to have, and how you can kind of up your ante, if you will, from there. So the misconception is that you need a bunch of gear to start fly fishing. I'm sitting here in my inflatable, it's not fully inflated, as you can see, my less than inflated boat. In the cold winter here, and seems kind of hypocritical, right? We am sitting here talking about what you need, the bare essentials, but we all started with a couple of basic things and moved from there into what we all now have as essential gear. So the first thing you need, realistically, to fly fish is a fly rod, right? So I'm not gonna say you need these things, but I like, as far as a beginning outfit goes, the FISHINGSIR riffle combo. Comes with a line, comes with a rod, comes with a reel. The rod is great. It's a full flex to mid flex rod. Great forgiveness to it, and it's a it's an 8-foot 3/4 weight, or they do have another size that's a little larger. Depends on what. That's for trout, for small bass and panfish. But whenever I get people introduced into fly fishing, I always suggest you do panfish. Why? They're easily take a fly, they enjoy taking a fly, and they will often teach you forgiveness when it comes to your casting, because you're not going to cast super well right off the bat, but a nice forgiving rod with a good load will help you become a better caster. So there's your, I would say, good full to mid-flex rod that will load easily, and something in a smaller weight, because if you're going to practice casting a lot, you don't want to be casting for 4 or 5 hours with a heavier action rod right off the bat. So you have your rod, your reel, your line. If you want to piece those out, there's some great options by KASTKING as well. Max Catch Fishing, all budget friendly. One often overlooked thing is, well, you're going to need either a leader or make your own leaders. Now, I don't suggest making your own leaders right off the bat, so purchasing some pre-designed tapered leaders that are monofilament will ease in the process, but after a while, once you get accustomed to making and tying these special knots like the blood knot, triple surgeon's knot, the non-slip mono loop knot, then you can make your own leaders, and it becomes less expensive. But I would suggest tapered leaders, and if you're going to fish for trout, anywhere from, get a couple in a 3X, 4X, 5X, maybe a 2X and a 6X, depending on your applications. But I would suggest picking up a couple of leaders right off the bat. And I have videos on how to set these things up, so by all means, check those out. Now, in addition to that, you're going to want to pick up a couple of spools of Tippet. And what I mean by that are, Tippet is different than regular monofilament and fluorocarbon line. Different in that it typically has a thinner diameter, and they come in these little single spools like this that, if you buy the same brand over and over again, you will be able to stack them. Now, it's thinner diameter, but it also, in my opinion, is more expensive because it is a little stronger per diameter. Now, that being said, for certain species like bass and panfish, you can get away with regular monofilament line or fluorocarbon line. Just make sure that, if you're fishing for panfish, 4-pound test is just fine. But you're going to also notice that whenever you start using Tippet, the knots get a little easier to tie, and they really cinch very well. So if you're going to fish a 4X leader, you're going to want to buy some 4X Tippet. And so the entire range of leaders you buy a spool or so of affordable Tippet to match those, okay? And what the Tippet does is you add it to the end of your leader. After you tie down a couple of flies, you're going to notice your leader shortens. You add more Tippet to lengthen the life of your leader. One of the other overlooked things, I'm actually going to do a couple of things. I know that they're probably not essential to start, but I think that they're often overlooked in the fact that most people don't think of them as fly fishing gear. Now, a good rain jacket is crucial. A good rain jacket will save your day and will make your life more enjoyable when you're on the water. Now, this one is super cheap. This one's by Mountain Warehouse, and I think this was less than $10. what you're looking for is just a solid shell that will stop the rain. Easy as that. Old school styles that are made from like rubber or certain types of like plastics work just super well. So if you have a good rain jacket, you're already off on the right step. Next thing I'd suggest that often overlooked is people will buy wading staffs, but realistically, an old ski pole, if you're not super sure-footed in moving water, does wonders. Whenever I guide people on the water, I will bring 2 or 3 of these, and if they're super unstable or it's new water they're not accustomed to or it's fast water, a pole tethered to them somehow, whether it be with a bungee cord or something inexpensive, will help you get to the places you need to safely. And safety is the name of the game half the time. Okay, so on to more fly-specific gear. And most of these things you can probably find around. Now, you have your rod, reel, line, leader, tippet. You need flies. Now, you could go researching a bunch of different stuff. I have 2 suggestions for you. First off, don't ask the online crusaders what flies you need unless they live where you do. Now, my suggestion would be, first and foremost, if you want the best selection, go to your local fly shop and get in contact with guides around your area. Now, tell them you're a newbie and you don't have any idea what to do. I would suggest hiring a guide. Being a guide, it means a lot to get new anglers on the water because it shaves off years of self-learning. But if you can't afford a guide, see if you can find some local guys who will give you the ins and outs. Usually the ones with the better reputation are probably the better ones to get a hold of, but get some good local intel. Other great options, you have Lucky Tackle Boxes, Fly Box, which I know I'm wearing a Lucky Tackle Box thing here, but I create content for them. The information you're getting from me, I create for them in both blog posts and videos on their channel. They're not trying to scam you, okay? We're trying to make content for new anglers to get out and catch fish. Another great one is the Fly Crate. I know Nate personally, and he is a great dude, avid, and loves the sport. So I would check out the Fly Crate. All of this stuff's going to be linked in the description. So you have flies, rod, combo with a line, and you have your rain jacket and your leader and tippet. Realistically, flies as well. That's all you need. Need. I would highly suggest polarized glasses. They don't have to be super expensive, but 1, you want to be able to get the layout of the water, and it's easier to see in the water. But 2, also, you're winging a fly around, you're going to want to protect those eyes. So that's why I always wear a hat, whether it be a full brim or just a baseball hat and glasses. It protects my eyes because my eyes, I can catch 10,000 fish and they have 2 sets of eyes, or one set of eyes, 2 eyes, right? So now let's get into some of the stuff that's really nice to have, but not necessarily a necessity. Okay? So this is all assuming you're fishing for freshwater fish, right? I like a good pair of waders will go a long way. Now, everyone says if you go onto all the Facebook sites, they're going to point you towards really expensive stuff. Realistically, I've worked with these guys for a while, giving my feedback. I absolutely love, the company is called, it's not Allen Fly Fishing, it's Allen Company. They produce a lot of hunting stuff as well, but they produce some stellar waders. Okay, these are the convertible waders, and these are the most expensive ones they produce, and they're about $200. They're called stocking foot, meaning that they have a stocking or neoprene foot booty with a rock guard, and I pair those with another really inexpensive, this is the most expensive pair they have, but it's still super cheap, pair of wading boots. These are felt-soled. Felt-soled wading boots are great for your grip in certain water conditions. Like, it's not going to really matter in silt, but on rocky conditions, it really helps. You're gonna notice there are tons of wader types and tons of boot sole types. Don't get caught up because realistically, rubber bottom boots like jungle boots, Rothco jungle boots, I used forever, and they worked just fine. I would really suggest if you're somewhere where there's lots of slate or granite, get some cleats, aluminum or something. But again, I would get with your local guys. They're gonna know better what your river or stream bed suits best, what type of boots. But these boots are ridiculously comfortable, super warm, and these are what we call breathable. There are neoprene and breathable waders, as well as some other types, but those are the two main common ones. I prefer breathable because I can layer. I do have a pair of really, really thick 5mm, I think they're 5mm neoprene waders as well, for when it is just bitter, bitter cold. But if you're going to fish spring, summer, fall, I've fished in these in -2 degrees Fahrenheit, and I just layer appropriately and you're good to go. Okay? So we've got, those are really nice to have, but again, if you're fishing in summer and spring, as long as you're, and if you're in the warmer weather, there's no need for it. It is really nice, however, to have boots and waders specifically for fishing, because then you don't have to concern yourself with getting from place to place and getting your car wet, or I sometimes fish before or after work, so it's nice to not have to concern yourself with that. Another couple really nice things to have are either a chest pack, a sling pack, or some kind of backpack. So the first one I'm going to show you here is, this is a sling pack by Max Catch Fishing. And they call it a sling pack because it goes around your shoulder, like so, like a sling. And then if you want to get to things, you slide it around, and you have your stuff here. Okay? Now they call that chest pack a chest pack because you wear it on your chest, like this. And it wraps around and it secures to your chest, and so you can do lots of moving and stuff. Last thing, and this might be the most, utilitarian, is this type of bag. Now, it's like a backpack. This one's made by Allen. This chest pack made by Allen. Allen's very inexpensive. The chest pack is less than 20. This is, I think, 40 maybe. They interweave and connect through clasps. I've worn this on long, long trips where I wear this as a backpack, and then I wear that as a chest pack, and it connects. You can carry multiple rods and stuff. So one thing I'm going to go through what I always carry in my chest, sling, or whatever packs. Now these all have a different purpose for me. So I always have, like I said before, tippet and leaders. I always have some type of nibber. They're different than scissors. They're different than toenail clippers. But if you're in a pinch, toenail clippers will work also. It is nice to have the eye clearing point here though, because sometimes if you buy commercially tied flies or you tie yourself, sometimes it's bound to happen. You're going to get a fly with UV resin or some kind of hardener in the eye, and there's a sharp hardened point that clears that so you can feed tippet through it. Nothing worse than being at a hatch or finding the fly you need and you can't use it because you don't have an eye clear. I also usually carry some type of indicator. Now usually when I'm guiding, this is more so an inexpensive way for me to have guys nymph who've never Euro nymphed before, but it's great. These are like thingamabobber style. I always have some type of plier or hemostat or forceps. Typically with trout, I use forceps because they're really thin, they're super light, and they usually clamp right to my packs. Now, I'm not sure if I have any sitting here or not, or if they're in my car, but it's crucial. Because here's some, yeah. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, they're just like little pliers that are little. And they will clamp right to your gear. You lose them that way, but sometimes it's nice to have them just right in the front. I always carry micro split shot. Yep. Now these are by Umpqua. These come in lucky tackle boxes. I really like them. I also carry a hook sharpener, like a hook hone, especially for salt stuff or for bass stuff or whatever. Because when you buy big pike or bass flies or you tie them, it's such a pain to rebuy and it's expensive. I just hone the hooks, right? Or you can repair the flies. What else here? I also carry usually with me. I carry extra. Let's see. For like big stuff, I have pliers. I carry a first aid kit for hooks and stuff. A couple fly boxes. This is something that I used to talk about more often, but I don't anymore for some reason. I don't know why. Is this is I have no affiliation with them. It's called Right in the Rain. It's an all-weather notebook. It's what I log all of my fish in with. Helps you learn patterning fish, what they like at certain points, What they don't, I'll mark the date, the water condition, the sky, the time, the water temp, what the flies were that I used, that I caught them on, the type of water I fished it in, maybe sketch out the location, and that helps you really understand better as you move forward what each spot will look like, and I usually pair that with either a little golf pencil or mechanical pencil, okay? And those are waterproof. I've dumped that, and it writes super well, and it doesn't like mush away. What else? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Again, these are all really nice to have things, but they're not necessary. These are the fun things to buy. Same thing with like a net. Do you really need a net? No. Learning how to successfully land fish by hand is a beautiful skill. Whenever I'm guiding, I use rubber nets because I can, sometimes if I have guys double up, I can get 2 fish in quicker. Also, whenever you're by yourself, if you catch a really big fish and you know that it can handle being netted, then it's nice to be able to let them revive in a net rather than just swim off. One of the things I'd like to showcase to you is this new Epic Creek box. When I talked about fly boxes before, they don't have to be anything special. They can even be just Plano boxes, but whenever you want to treat yourself to things like something like this where it's waterproof, this one you actually put Tippet through the top and through the bottom, and you can pull it off and cut it and it stays there. I've taken just this and a rod reel to the stream and have had a fun day just dinking around with this. So that's my little product showcase there for you. Alright. Other than that, realistically, all you'll need, like I said before, rod, reel, line, leader, tippet, flies, and you're off on the water. I have plenty of videos where I'm fishing in shorts and in combat boots or shorts and flip-flops or barefoot even. Just make sure that, with that, make sure you're careful of your surroundings and things. You'd hate to step on something or, get bit by something that would be less than favorable, okay? So, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos in the playlist, and again, guys, this is a nice little basic setup for novice anglers or guys just getting into it or thinking it's too expensive to get into, as I'm sitting here in my new little toy, right? So, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos in the playlist again, guys. Catch you guys on the flip side, tight lines, and we're out.